What actually happened to Yoda's lightsaber? Was it destroyed by Mas Amedda, or does Luke Skywalker actually have it? So in Revenge of the Sith, Darth Sidious shoots lightning at Yoda and knocks Yoda's lightsaber out of his hand, and the lightsaber falls, and it gets lost, and Yoda escapes the duel, and it doesn't seem that Yoda retrieved his lightsaber because when he's leaving, he doesn't have his robe on, and so normally Yoda has his lightsaber on his belt, and when he has his cloak on, it's covering it, so obviously you can't see his lightsaber, but the fact that he has his robe off and you can't see a lightsaber on his belt shows that he doesn't have his lightsaber with him, so clearly he just lost it. And later in the Charles Soule Darth Vader comics, we see Mas Amedda has Yoda's lightsaber, and Mas Amedda lifts up Yoda's lightsaber for the entire galaxy to see, and Mas Amedda throws Yoda's lightsaber into the fire, and Yoda's lightsaber explodes, along with all the other Jedi lightsabers in that same fire. And Darth Vader confirmed that it was Yoda's lightsaber in that fire because Darth Vader and Darth Sidious are talking about the Sith lightsabers and how the Sith believe they're crystals and that the Sith have to kill a Jedi before they're able to do that. And so Darth Vader's like, yeah, so I guess you wanted me to go through this hard way. You could have just given me any lightsaber in that burning fire, even Yoda's, which confirms that it was in fact Yoda's lightsaber in that fire. It's literally Yoda's lightsaber in that fire. Darth Vader even confirmed it. Mas Amedda showed it. So, clearly Yoda's lightsaber was destroyed, and yet in the Book of Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker has Yoda's lightsaber, and Luke Skywalker shows Yoda's lightsaber to Grogu Baby Yoda, and basically Yoda's lightsaber is meant to serve as a symbol, and saying if Grogu takes Yoda's lightsaber, then that means that Grogu Baby Yoda will be a Jedi, but if Grogu Baby Yoda chooses not to take Yoda's lightsaber, then Grogu Baby Yoda will just go back to his daddy, Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and just travel with him. And so that's the lightsaber, Yoda's lightsaber in that scene is meant to symbolize that choice, which is why it was brought into the storyline to serve as that symbol, to serve as the symbol of the choice that Grogu makes or doesn't make. And so obviously the writers of the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian brought Yoda's lightsaber into that story just to make a point, just to make a storyline symbolism point about that lightsaber. And they probably knew about the Charles Soule Darth Vader comics and how Yoda's lightsaber was already destroyed, but they chose to ignore that storyline as they ignore many storylines. They also contradicted many parts of the Kanan Jarrus comics with the Bad Batch, because what happens to Kanan Jarrus and Depa Billaba in the Bad Batch is very, very different from what was shown in the comics. And of course, what happens to Ahsoka Tano in the Siege of Mandalore and Darth Maul as well, that's very different from the E.K. Johnston Ahsoka novels. So clearly, they just decided to make a contradiction just to serve the ends of their own story, which is a creative choice. If you disagree with it or if you agree with it, obviously you could disagree with it as I do, or you could agree with it. But whatever the case is, clearly they just decided to ignore the source material from before, and which added unnecessarily to another contradiction and another plot hole. Or of course they could have done it by mistake. Maybe they just forgot about Charles Soule Darth Vader comics or just didn't look at it and they made that mistake. Regardless of whether it was a mistake or on purpose, it is still a plot hole. So that's a fact. However, if we want to rectify this in universe, and we want to come up with explanations as to why Luke might have Yoda's lightsaber, let's think. Let's think creatively. So it's possible that Yoda has several lightsabers that look the same. We know a lot of Jedi have multiple lightsabers. Pong Krell has 2 lightsabers. Of course, they're 2 different colors. And there are many other Jedi who have many lightsabers as well. So it's possible that Yoda just had multiple lightsabers that looked exactly the same. And so the lightsaber he was using to fight Darth Sidious was just one of his lightsabers, and he lost that lightsaber, and it was picked up and later burned and exploded by Mas Amedda. Whereas Yoda was keeping several other copies of his lightsaber, and maybe he had them on his hut in Dagobah, or maybe he had them hidden somewhere else, and Luke just found one of the copies and kept it. And to also justify how a lightsaber might look the same as another lightsaber, remember that Obi-Wan Kenobi had a lightsaber in The Phantom Menace, and when Obi-Wan Kenobi was fighting Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi almost fell into the hole, Darth Maul kicked Obi-Wan's lightsaber into the hole, and Obi-Wan's lightsaber was lost. However, in Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan Kenobi has a lightsaber that looks exactly the same as the lightsaber that he used in The Phantom Menace, which means he just made a copy because obviously the lightsaber he was using in The Phantom Menace was thrown into the hole and lost forever. So basically, Obi-Wan Kenobi built another lightsaber that looked the same as his previous lightsaber. And of course, he also loses that lightsaber in Attack of the Clones because he gets captured on Geonosis. And so, very possible to have multiple lightsabers that look the same. So yeah, Yoda could easily have had copies. And let's just entertain for the moment that Yoda's only lightsaber was the one lost on Coruscant during the battle with Darth Sidious. So Yoda lost the lightsaber and it was picked up and burned by Mas Amedda and it exploded. Well, after Yoda died and came back as a Force ghost after Return of the Jedi, it's possible that Yoda went to Luke and said, "Luke, build me a new lightsaber, can you? Build a lightsaber that looks the same as the one I used to have, just to honor me, can you?" And Luke might have been like, "Yeah, of course, Master Yoda. I'll make a lightsaber that looks exactly the same as your old lightsaber, which was destroyed by Mas Amedda, so that it can honor you and just make you happy, even though you're a ghost and you're dead now." So that's possible. That's what happened. So that's the first theory, that there were just Yoda just had many different lightsabers that looked the same. And one of them was destroyed by Mas Amedda in the fire, and the other one was retrieved by Luke Skywalker. My second theory is that Yoda retrieved his lightsaber. Yoda retrieved his lightsaber after the battle. So after losing to Darth Sidious and escaping the duel, Yoda quickly retrieved his lightsaber, and he took his lightsaber to Paulus Massa and then to Dagobah. So Yoda found his lightsaber after the duel with Darth Sidious, and Yoda took his lightsaber and he kept it all the way through Dagobah. And after Yoda died, Luke just found Yoda's lightsaber on Dagobah and just took it with him and showed it to Grogu later. That's possible. But then if this theory is true, if the second theory that I'm saying right now is true, then how come Mas Amedda has Yoda's lightsaber and how come Mas Amedda was able to destroy it when he didn't have it? Well, maybe because the Empire, Darth Sidious, Emperor Sidious, is focused on propaganda. And he's focusing on painting the Jedi as the villains and the terrorists who were behind everything. He's focused on smearing the Jedi and saying that they were the terrorists behind the Clone Wars and the attempt to overthrow the Republic and assassinate Palpatine and all that. So that's Palpatine's goal. Sidious's goal is to paint the Jedi as massive villains. And of course, if Sidious is the guy who took out the Jedi, if Sidious is the guy who terminated the Jedi Order, then Sidious is going to be the big hero who killed all the terrorist Jedi and and save the galaxy from the horrible Jedi. And so if Sidious wants to claim victory over the Jedi, then it makes sense that Sidious wants the galaxy to see Yoda's lightsaber. For propaganda purposes, seeing Yoda's lightsaber implies that Yoda is dead, even though Yoda is not dead. And it shows, hey, the terrorist leader, Yoda been... I'm not going to make that joke, but the terrorist leader, Yoda, is dead. And so Emperor Palpatine in his infinite glory, and his Emperor Palpatine, the awesome dude, he killed Yoda, the terrorist leader, and now Yoda's weapon, lightsaber, is right here, and it's about to be thrown in fire and burned, and it's going to explode. And so the symbolism of destroying Yoda's lightsaber is huge. And so therefore, maybe if Yoda did indeed take his lightsaber and run, and Darth Sidious doesn't have Yoda's lightsaber, it's possible that Darth Sidious is like, why don't I make a copy of Yoda's lightsaber and just burn it so that the galaxy thinks that Yoda's lightsaber was actually destroyed when in fact it wasn't, because the main important part here is just the symbolism. The symbol of destroying Yoda's lightsaber is a symbol of destroying the Jedi, is a symbol of destroying the weapon of the Grand Master of the terrorist Jedi Order. And so just that symbolism alone is very powerful. So Sidious doesn't actually need Yoda's real lightsaber. He can just make up a fake copy and destroy that one and pretend he destroyed the real one. And the people of the galaxy will be just cheering him on, and everyone will be just grateful to the Empire for killing the Jedi anyway. So maybe Darth Sidious just made a copy of Yoda's lightsaber. And so that was a fake lightsaber. It wasn't even Yoda's lightsaber, but Mas Amedda just burned it just to show to the galaxy, just to make that propaganda point. So it's possible that the lightsaber that Mas Amedda destroyed was just a fake, and that Luke has the real lightsaber, and the lightsaber is nice and well, and it just was not destroyed. Now, the next theory is that Yoda lost his lightsaber. And it was retrieved by Darth Sidious and Mas Amedda. And Darth Sidious and Mas Amedda threw Yoda's lightsaber into the fire. But the thing here is, when Yoda's lightsaber, along with all the other lightsabers, are thrown into the fire, there was an explosion. And of course, that could be caused by the kyber crystals, because kyber crystals, if used in certain ways, can cause explosions. But what if the explosion just means that the fire didn't work? What if the explosion means that because there were either too many lightsabers in the fire, it wasn't enough to destroy all the lightsabers, and so maybe some lightsabers, including Yoda's lightsaber, survived? Or maybe the lightsabers were just too strong for fire, and the fire just could not destroy them? So let's just say that lightsabers were not destroyed in that fire for whatever reason, whether the fire was too weak or the lightsabers were too many in number, or maybe fire just doesn't work on lightsabers. Whatever the case may be, if lightsabers were not destroyed, then Yoda's lightsaber would still be intact, and so maybe Luke eventually found it after years of digging. Maybe Yoda's lightsaber was just taken away and hidden away somewhere, and Luke eventually found it. So even though it was thrown in the fire and there was an explosion, we don't see the shattered pieces of Yoda's lightsaber, and so if there is no body, then he's not dead. Because, as of course the clone troopers said in Revenge of the Sith, there's no sign of him, and that they can't find Yoda's body. And Mas Amedda says, well, then he's not dead. So yeah, that's possible as well. So the theories that I've gone over is that Yoda just had multiple lightsabers that looked the same, so he had many copies, and one of the copies was destroyed by Mas Amedda, while the other one was kept by Yoda and retrieved by Luke later. Second theory is that Luke just made a replica of Yoda's old lightsaber as a way to honor Yoda, because maybe Yoda even asked him to. The third theory is that Yoda actually retrieved his lightsaber and he took it to Dagobah. However, Mas Amedda and Darth Sidious just made up a fake copy of Yoda's lightsaber so that they could destroy it for propaganda purposes. And the fourth theory is that Yoda's lightsaber was lost and found. So Yoda's lightsaber was lost and Yoda went away without it, but Darth Sidious and Mas Amedda found Yoda's lightsaber and threw it into the fire, but for whatever reason, the fire did not work properly and Yoda's lightsaber was not destroyed in the fire, even though it was thrown in the fire, and it survived, and Luke Skywalker eventually found it later. So those are the four possible explanations in universe that I have. As I said, it's probably just a plot error, whether it was intentional or unintentional on the creator's parts, it was a plot error nonetheless. So, what theory makes the most sense to me? Personally, I would have just liked for Yoda's lightsaber to be destroyed. Well, actually, before that, I have a storyline preference as well as a theory on what happened. So, my personal theory is that in universe, Yoda did find his lightsaber. Yoda quickly grabbed his lightsaber before escaping, because obviously as he's escaping, he might run into more enemies, more clones or Sidious or whatever, and he needs his lightsaber to fight his way out of it if he needs to fight his way out to escape. So he probably thought quickly and retrieved his lightsaber before going into that tunnel and escaping and having Bail Organa save him. So I think that Yoda did retrieve his lightsaber and take it with him to Dagobah, and that's how Luke found it later. Now, of course, as I said, Mas Amedda and Darth Sidious love propaganda, and so Darth Sidious probably made up a fake copy of Yoda's lightsaber so that Mas Amedda could burn it in front of the whole galaxy, and that it could serve as a propaganda tool for saying, oh hey, you see, evil terrorist Yoda's lightsaber is being destroyed. This is a symbol of the Jedi being destroyed, and you have Emperor Palpatine to thank for this. And so Emperor Palpatine is a hero, Jedi were terrorists, and now their symbol, they have all been destroyed, and the weapon of the Grand Master of the terrorist Jedi Order has been destroyed, which signifies that the Jedi are dead. Darth Sidious is victorious, Emperor Palpatine is victorious, and he saved you, and now you all serve the Empire. So he probably so the most likely scenario is that Yoda took his lightsaber to Dagobah and kept it, and Luke found it later, whereas Darth Sidious made a fake copy of Yoda's lightsaber just so that he could destroy it in front of the whole galaxy for propaganda purposes. However, personally, my preference, what makes the most sense to me, is that it was just destroyed. Is that Yoda's lightsaber was just destroyed by Mas Amedda. So Yoda, he's in a hurry to leave the Senate building because he needs to go, otherwise he's going to die. And so Yoda does not have time to go searching and looking for his lightsaber. And also he is fairly powerful, so if he runs into a clone, he can just easily force choke them or do something. So Yoda does not have time to waste looking for his lightsaber, so he takes it and leaves. So he just leaves it and runs. And Darth Sidious finds Yoda's lightsaber, is very happy, and Mas Amedda throws Yoda's lightsaber into the fire, and it is destroyed. End of story. That makes the most sense story-wise. And also, just the symbolism that the Grand Master of the Jedi Order failed in multiple ways. He failed to detect the rise of the Sith. He failed to stop the Sith from starting the Clone Wars. He failed to stop the Sith, period. The Sith destroy the Jedi, and the Grand Master of the Jedi Order failed to kill the Dark Lord of the Sith, and he lost the duel. And so that lightsaber symbolizes Yoda's status, success, and pride, and stature as the Grand Master of the Jedi Council. And because he lost to Darth Sidious, because he failed to stop the Sith, because he failed to save the Jedi, Yoda does not deserve that lightsaber anymore. He's not worthy of it anymore. He's not worthy of that lightsaber anymore. So therefore, he deserves to lose it. And he lost it. And the Grand Master losing his lightsaber signifies the Jedi losing their place in the galaxy. So lots of symbolism, storyline symbolism there. And I could say more, but I'm very thirsty, and also this video is getting really long. So that's what makes the most sense story-wise. And of course, Darth Sidious destroying Yoda's lightsaber by burning it is just extra salt in the wound and extra symbolism and very, very good storytelling, and just signifies and culminates everything. Shows that the Jedi are completely and totally decimated and destroyed. Shows everything, and it makes so much sense, and it's a great propaganda tool for the Empire. Now, personally, they should have just left Yoda's lightsaber out of the Book of Boba Fett. There was no reason to put it there, even if it served as a great storyline. Yoda and Grogu only have their species in common. Like, the only thing in common between Yoda and Grogu is their species. So Luke could have just presented Grogu with any other lightsaber. Any other lightsaber. He could have presented Grogu with Leia's lightsaber. He could have presented Grogu with Mace Windu's lightsaber. That would have been really interesting to see. Seeing Mace Windu's lightsaber being presented to Grogu, that would have been interesting to see. Luke could have presented Grogu with like Ki-Adi-Mundi's lightsaber, or even though that was taken by Doc Ondar. Doc Ondar has Ki-Adi-Mundi's lightsaber. Or he could have shown Grogu like Aayla Secura's lightsaber, or Eighth Cost lightsaber, or someone else's lightsaber. But yet, or maybe Luke Skywalker purified Darth Vader's lightsaber crystal, and he could give that to Grogu or something. That was, of course, Kirik Infil's original lightsaber crystal. So, yeah, there were many other lightsabers that they could have used. They did not have to use Yoda and needlessly contradict and cause another plot hole. But they did. And so, obviously, if they still want to use Yoda's lightsaber, then they can go with my other theory that Luke just made a copy of Yoda's lightsaber because maybe Yoda's Force Ghost told him to, or maybe he just wanted to honor Yoda or something. And so that was basically Luke honoring his master and now giving it as a present to Grogu. So they could have gone with that, but Yoda's lightsaber should have been lost in Revenge of the Sith, and it should have just been destroyed in the Charles Soule Darth Vader comics. That's what it should have been, but apparently it wasn't. Apparently there's a contradiction, so that's the deal.